So when I first buy a horse, it doesn't matter what age the horse is or how experienced the horse is. He might be 12 and have done badminton 4 times. He might be a green 3-year-old, but I start exactly the same. So I start in here in an arena because the horse doesn't know me and I don't know my horse. So what I do with all my horses, I touch them all over. I get them used to me and being handled and me moving around them. This is all for a bigger picture and a bigger reason. So I want to see how reactive the horse is. I don't want to find out on board, I'd rather find out on the ground and work out how much work I need to do and how much training. So I do wave my arms around. That seems a little bit odd, but I wave my arms around and I'm kind of see how reactionary the horse is. Well, you can see by this horse, he's had this done quite a lot because he's half asleep. So I wave my arms around, I touch them all over, get them absolutely used to this. I don't go behind a brand new horse I don't know, but eventually I will. I want to train the horse that it's absolutely normal for me to work around here, tapping them, making it very normal, touching them underneath. Now, some people say to me, if the horse doesn't like being touched underneath, they're not going to touch them underneath because the horse doesn't like it. So the answer isn't to not do that. The answer is to do that more, because I need to train the horse that all of this stuff is normal. We might have a fly bite under here and I need to treat it, or a vet needs to have a look at an injury. And if the horse is twitchy because it's saying, I don't like you being there, that's hard work for everybody, including the horse. So I'm going to make all this stuff really normal by doing it for a minute or 2 every day, giving them a little reward, a scratch, polo, whatever you do is fine, tiny little sessions. I build this up, so I get to the point where I can do star jumps around my horse, both sides. I'm very purposeful around him. I'm not being a predator and going, oh, stand still, oh, he doesn't like flappy things. You know, that's not helpful. That's me being a lion. I'm very purposeful around him, making it all very, very normal. There's a bigger picture for all of this. So I'm now on board my horse and I'm going to talk about balance, desensitization training and spooking, because it's all linked. So you know when your horse spins, kind of quickly as well, spins at something, something's jumped out, the feather's jumped out, they're scared of the crisp packet, I don't know. They don't like the kids trampolining next door as you go past, and you find yourself in a funny position. This is the bit I'm going to talk about, because I fundamentally believe in training for this stuff. I don't want to wait for the moment to find out how I'm going to deal with it, and also how my horse is going to deal with it should I need to grab onto something. So that's what I'm going to talk about: equipment, doing the training and having the practice. So when I first sit on a horse, I'm balanced because my core, this bit here, I also call it the centre of gravity, is central, or should be, over the centre of my horse. So your centre of gravity, it's like a big football, and it's right central over the horse, over the middle of the horse. So if I draw a line with a marker pen through the middle of my horse, just to make it really clear about the balance point in the centre, there's my marker pen line all the way through the middle of my horse, all the way through here, and I should be sitting with 50% of my weight on this side and 50% of my weight on this side. Right, but life's not always like this, because sometimes the horse does a behaviour and you find yourself in a funny position, halfway around the horse's neck. You might have lost your stirrups, you're clinging on, having a little wing and a prayer, hoping it will all be okay, or you're going to fall off. So let's deal with that. So we're going to set up this scenario to show you, to demonstrate. We're going to imagine that we're going out on the hack, the horse is going to spin at something, so you can pick what you like. It's the kids on the trampoline, the Christmas tree is getting moved in next door, the Christmas decorations are going up and they've put an inflatable Santa over there. Horse is going to spin, I'm going to lose my balance and I'm going to show you what to do. Now, because I'm trying to demonstrate this, I'm going to need Carl in so he can actually catch me, because if I lose my balance and he doesn't catch me, I'm going to end up on the floor. So we're going to put Carl in to help me out here.
Boing! Bet you wondered that I wasn't in this video. Well, I am.
So normally Carl isn't here because he's busy getting on with stuff. He doesn't come on a hack with me walking alongside.
Working hard.
He doesn't walk alongside, just catching me in case my horse spins at something.
Not that kind of husband.
So we're going along. Horses, we're going to imagine horses span. I'm going to lose my balance. Ah!
Got ya.
So remember, Carl's not here, so I'm going to rely on my training instead because he's not here. So the second this happened, I'm going to do something. So I'm going to move my core, my centre of gravity, the football, as close as I can back to the lovely balanced central line of the horse. And I'm going to grab onto something. So what can I grab onto? Well, I've got a neck strap. That's a good idea. I've got a neck, I've got a mane, I've got the front of my saddle. I could have a martingale, a breastplate, something solid. I'm not going to grab onto these because these are two flexible bits of leather that are not going to keep me on a horse. Plus, they're connected to the horse's sensitive bits, the mouth and the nose. So, I'm going to grab on. Boom! I've grabbed onto the mane and the plait because we've got one, it was there. I've grabbed onto this neck strap, that's a good idea. And I've moved my core, like I said, as close as I can to the central line. Now, I'm actually all right. I could ride to London like this. I honestly am absolutely fine. I'm still got awareness, I'm looking around, I'm not staring down at my horse and going, ah! I'm doing something. Get out of the way, kids, get me a coffee. And then I'm gonna make this even better. Climb, clamber, push. And I'm back on my horse, carrying on my ride. Now remember, horses can throw you any direction. So I'm going to do this again. We're going to imagine another scenario. I need Carl. Horses span. I'm just picking this side. Could be this side because Carl's here and we're doing it for the camera. So something's caused my horse to spin. Off he goes. I've lost my balance. Come out the side. Quickly do something. Right. Okay. Well, I'd forgot to put my neck strap on, let's imagine. So this time I've grabbed the front of my saddle because I've got one, and I've grabbed the number because I've got one, and I've moved my core again, golden rule, to the centre as close as I can to this line. I'm grabbing on with two hands.
Have you noticed how her hat is falling right over her eyes?
I can't see a thing.
Hang on, you're all grown ups, aren't you? Let's just allow her not to wear a hat for a moment.
So remember, grabbing on with two hands is better than one, and one is better than none. And from here, I'm just going to climb, clamber and push and get myself back onto the horse, and I can carry on my ride. I'm going to do this one more time, and we're going to up the ante a little bit now. So I'm riding along, the peacock's flown right in front of my horse. My horse has gone whoa and span really quickly like they do. I'm going to lose my balance. Ah!
Got ya.
Do something quickly. Again, I like the neck strap. It's solid, it's good. Right, Carl, up the ante.
It's windy.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. So, it's windy. The Velcro on my high vis is rubbish. In this moment, my Velcro opened, my high vis started flapping around. I'm not sitting in the saddle. Question: how is my horse dealing with all this? This is the question to you. How has he been through all of this video? Half asleep, absolutely normal, if anything a bit bored. Why? Because I've done the training with him. So at the beginning of this video, if you remember, I was touching the horse all over. I was doing some really bizarre things, my star jumps, touching him all around the back, flapping things around him, because I need to know how my horse is going to be before these situations happened. I don't want to risk a secondary reaction that I lose my balance. It happens. I've gone to grab onto something quickly. I don't know, the high vis is flapping around. I've grabbed his neck, I've grabbed his mane, and the horse is frightened because he says, what the hell are you doing down here? I'm not used to you being down here. He's now worried and potentially broncs, bucks, bolts, takes off because I'm not in this lovely dressage Charlotte Dujardin position. So I don't want to find out in the moment how my horse is going to be with all that stuff. I've suddenly grabbed him on his mane, I'm in a funny position, things are flapping around, the horse panics, he says, oh my God, what are you doing there? I don't like that, I'm not used to it. If I do the training, I make all this stuff really normal. And I do this with all our horses, and we start bite sizes. As you know, we really like bite sizes. We start in the arena, on the ground, touching the horse all over, patting the horse all over, just to make him really used to all this stuff. If I've never ever sat in a different position other than this, and my horse does a behaviour and I find myself now in funny position, one, I need to make it normal for me, and two, I need to make it normal for my horse. And I really enjoy this stuff. I'm having fun with all this training as well. So I can come in the arena and say, hey, what I'm going to do with my horse is I'm going to wiggle around, touch him all over, get in those funny positions, and make sure that he's happy with all of that. If you put on a strap, don't wait for the moment to grab it for the first time when your horse is doing a behaviour, spinning, bucking, whatever, spooking. Don't wait for then to grab something you've probably never grabbed before, and you might not have it in a good place, or it might just not work for you. It might be too loose, it might be too tight. Also, if I go to grab the horse's neck, like I was saying, don't wait for the moment for that to be the first time you've ever grabbed the horse's neck and risk that the horse says, "Way, what are you doing? I don't like my neck being touched, don't grab me there." So it's a really good idea when you're in the arena just riding around, nothing's wrong, you're just training your horse on the warm-up or the cool-down part of the day, to practice grabbing this stuff. How does it feel? Is it in a good place? Is it rubbish? What else could I put on? Like I said, a martingale, put on a martingale, a breastplate. What else could I use? Another thing, English saddles. Well, you might put on an Australian saddle. Stock saddles are brilliant for keeping you in. Western saddles, they've got a big great horn, they're great for grabbing. So don't always be stuck in the, I have to have an English saddle. There might be other things that work for you as well. So the question for you guys at home is, who got into riding as an adult and who got into riding as a child? We ask this on all our rider confidence courses. Why? Because what we found is child riders, and for those of you that maybe got into riding, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, I think you used to do an exercise called Around the World. Why do we do that exercise? Well, it's actually, because people forget why, it's for confidence and balance. So we're getting and training our riders to get used to moving around the horse, and it's really helpful for the horse because he's training him to get used to us moving around the horse. If we only ever sit like this and the horse spins, okay, bucks, does a behaviour, and we're all in a funny position, we're all panicking, we're all going, oh my God, we're all going to die. But if we've done this every day, imagine if for 2 minutes, every day after I've been on my horse riding, I did an Around the World. How used to moving around would I be, and how used to me moving around would my horse be? Okay, ready? I have got a big winter coat on. Hold on. Yeah!
Ta-da! Salute!
As much as we want life to be sitting in this lovely position and we don't want anything to happen and we don't want to be in any other position, well, we can't control life. And by the way, I really don't want to. But what I can control is the amount of training me and my horse have got. So if I put myself in a funny position, hold on, funny position coming up. Right. We call this the pheasant sketch. So what's happened is the pheasant's flown out, the horse has span, and I found myself not in my lovely dressage position anymore. But question to you guys watching this, do you think I'm balanced? Right now, am I balanced or not? I'm completely balanced. I'm as balanced as I was sitting the other way round. Why? Because my core, my football, my centre of gravity here, I hope you can see my big coat and the high vis, is still central over the horse. That's the golden rule. If I'm too far over, I'm not as balanced. If I'm too far back, I'm not as balanced. So I'm quite used to just finding that balance point. Why am I quite used to this? Because I've practiced it. And I've practiced it with my horse. Again, the horse isn't worried at all about me being in this position. In fact, he's probably half asleep. And from here, I can just push down and get myself back into this position. So my point is to have fun with that stuff. And you can see that the horse didn't react at all.